Hi Insiders, I am back for preparing for AEP, or how to prepare for AEP Now part 2, so stay tuned. All right, so last video was some tips on how to get organized for AEP. We are going to move into some of that prep work for your lead generation. And I would say one of the first things is connect with your carrier reps. So this is a great resource for you for marketing dollars, for any retail events that you might want to host. Build that relationship with your local carrier rep. Be the designated go-to agent for them. If another agent falls through on an event or flakes out on an event, then be the agent that that rep is going to call to jump in and get the job done. Now, of course, during AEP, maybe you have a tight schedule, maybe you can't jump in at the last minute, but I would definitely get yourself on those carrier rep radars, especially for those carriers that you sell a lot of products for. They've probably seen your name. You definitely want to be getting the most out of that relationship. And your FMO will probably facilitate a lot of that, but in the case that your FMO maybe is not providing marketing dollars or isn't providing a whole lot of support, then you definitely want to make sure that you have that relationship directly with those carrier reps and that you're staying up to date on any events, marketing dollars, like I said, anything that would be beneficial to you. Lead generation activity, this is a great way to get yourself in front of that. Next thing I would say, fill your pipeline now. So start getting those permission to contact cards filled out, letting people know that you will reach out during AEP for a free plan review. Maybe launch an ancillary or final expense campaign, and then once those people are your clients, you can also reach out to them for Medicare Advantage during AEP. So make sure that you are thinking ahead. How do you want to get in front of new clients? Make sure that you're getting those permission to contact cards filled now ahead of time and getting those appointments on the books like I talked about in our last video. Want to make sure that you are starting to fill that pipeline as soon as possible. You definitely want to plan out your marketing strategy. That needs to happen now, July, August, the latest. If you want to order mailers, if you're gonna do custom mailers, make sure that you're getting those designed. If you need anything approved by CMS ahead of time, make sure you're sending those up for approval. Those things, they take time, you know, and during this time of year, things tend to get delayed, they tend to get slowed down, everyone is working toward the same goal. So you want to make sure that you're one of those first people in getting your pieces designed if they're not already designed, getting them submitted for approval if they need to be submitted for approval, and making sure that the lead companies that you're working with have the areas available, that all of those details are ironed out, and that you are placing your orders in as soon as possible. So if you can place your order in now to go out in September, by all means, you want to do that. Secure that position, secure those leads ahead of time. You don't want to be placing an order or thinking about placing an order at the end of September, and I have it happen every single year. So definitely take the time, July, August, think about what you want to do. Do you want to, are mailers even something that is on your marketing plan? Maybe it's not, but if it is, you want to make sure that you get those done ahead of time. Like I said, designed, approved, ordered, and printed, ready to go for when the time comes to mail them out. Along the same lines, make sure that you have your benefit review letters ready to go. If that's how you're reaching out to your clients, right? If you're sending something in the mail for them to get a benefit review scheduled with you, you want to make sure you have that set up ahead of time. A tip here to help you save time, maybe send a form along with that review letter where your client can fill out their doctors and their medications, and that way you can get that or collect that data ahead of time, so when you have your appointments, you're already prepared and you don't have to do really long appointments where they're having to open up their medication cabinet and bring out all their medications and you having to go by one by one. It's going to save you tons of time if you can get that information in ahead of time. So if you are sending out letters, I would recommend sending a form in there where they can send it back to you and include some of that information to simplify the process for you guys moving forward. And make sure you include a self-addressed stamped envelope, because if it's an inconvenience, then they're less likely to do it. But if you make it easy, they just have to fill out the form, put it in an envelope, drop it off, it's gone, you got it. You're doing your research and you're saving tons of time. And one tip moving into AEP, but also kind of pre-AEP, think about how you're going to stay sane during that AEP time, right? Maybe block out 5 to 10 minutes a day on your calendar to kind of regroup and assess what went well, what didn't go well. Maybe schedule a weekly or bi-weekly checkpoint with your marketer at the FMO that you work with. That can be helpful to kind of assess, okay, this is how many sales I'm getting, this is what is working, what's not working, do we need a pivot, etc. Simple things like maybe meal prepping is a useful tool for a time like AEP where you might be really busy. I would say don't overextend yourself during AEP. You definitely want to be as busy as possible, but sometimes we just get into this say yes to everything mode and we really can't handle it, and we start being sloppy, or we're not doing things 100% of the way. So we want to make sure that everything that we're doing it well, and we don't want to overcommit ourselves in different engagements that maybe we just don't have the time for. So this is where the calendar is really going to help. Make sure that you keep that calendar. We talked about it in the first video. So reference that if you need some more tips on how to stay organized with a calendar. But definitely that is going to be one of your biggest tools to stay organized, making sure that you know what you're doing, when you're doing it, at what time of the day, and what kind of downtime you're working with to kind of reassess and see if your marketing strategy is working. I always want to know if I'm investing, if you are doing anything like leads, mail leads, internet leads, anything of that nature. I want to know how much am I putting in, how much am I getting out. So if you have a way to track that, I recommend for sure tracking that. And like I said, building out that time to assess what you're doing during AEP to see if it's truly working out or if you need to place another game plan in place. So make sure that you know what you're doing. Come up with a marketing strategy. If you don't have a marketing strategy, call your marketer at your FMO where you work. If people are not willing to help you come up with a marketing plan for AEP, the FMO that you're working with is not worth their salt. I would recommend looking into making a change, whether you can for this year or for next year, but we do need that additional support available there for you to know what you're doing, what's working, what's not working for other agents. That is a big value to you in working with a marketer that knows what's going on in the industry, what the best lead generation is, what the best lead platforms are, what's going to be worth your investment during this AEP. Want to make sure that we have all of those details kind of ironed out well before AEP actually hits. So if you have any questions, any other ideas, any other suggestions, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, go on our Facebook group, Medicare Insiders, where we are constantly posting updates and industry news. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next video.